Alright, so let's take a look at these corners, how we got them fabricated there. You notice here, if you look at it, there's a little high spot right in here. So we're going to do some shrinking. And along here, it's like a high spot here, 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 here. And if I just hammer them down, they don't really want to go down. So we're going to use a little bit of shrinking method with a shrinking hammer. And I'll show you guys how that works. So this is a shrinking hammer. It has, if you look at it, it has these bumps on it. And what they do is it kind of grabs the metal and shrinks it as you hammer it. You can hit it with just this in some instances, and it'll actually shrink the metal a little bit. But if you heat it up and you hit it with this, it'll grab it and shrink it. And then what you want to do is heat it up, hammer on it. And now when you hammer on metal, a lot of people think you just hit it like this. It's more of you're pushing the metal with the hammer. See how I'm pushing it? I'm forming it with, I'm letting the hammer push its way into it. So I'm it's kind of like when if you golf or whatever, you know, instead of just hitting the ball, you're going through it. You're kind of pushing the ball a little bit. And that's actually not the way you're supposed to play golf, but I mean, when you're putting, you can get in trouble for doing that, but I'm just trying to say that that's kind of like you're pushing the metal, okay? So that's that's how you're supposed to hammer. Let's do some shrinking real quick here. All right, so we got our flame. This isn't really the right tip for this. But what you do is you just get a spot red, like that. Hammer it. And you can use a propane torch too. It works fine, but since I have oxyacetylene, I'm going to use it. It's faster. You knock it down, shrink it. I'm going to do about 10 or 15 of them. So I get it hot, red hot. It doesn't quite get as red if propane. Get my rag on there, shrink it, cool it off. That way you can kind of look at it and see how much more you need to do. You got to really know how to shrink metal. That's whenever you're doing body work. Get it hot, hammer it. Cool it. It's real tricky with the camera going because you guys are right where I need to be, kind of. You got to be really careful with that torch. Propane, it's a lot easier as far as that goes. So I've knocked that down quite a bit. We'll take a look at it here in a minute. Do a couple more. I can see it from where I'm at, where I need to go. Heat it, get it red. Shrink it. Cool it. And dunk your rag quite often because it starts to get hot. Like a number 1 or number 2 tip for your oxyacetylene setup usually is what you need, but I got a cutting tip on here. I didn't want to change it. I'm lazy. That's looking pretty good now. Gloves would be helpful too. Gotta be pretty, don't want to touch that metal. I've always done it with bare hand, so I'm used to it. Now I got, you can see that is way down from where it was. Get her hot. Sometimes you'll do 2 of them or 3 of them at once. Idle shop teachers used to get mad at me when I did that. Effing. One at a time. One at a time, effing. Never called you by your first name.
Yeah.
All right, so shrink her down. All right, so that's how you do it. So I'll bring you guys back in a minute. I'll just put this on stop for a second because I got a lot of shrinking to do, and I'll bring you back in, and then we're gonna fill this, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. A lot of people are thinking probably, God, that's gonna look like crap. You guys are gonna be shocked. Everything looks pretty nice when I'm done. You gotta know right where that flame is, boy. Don't put your hand through that sucker. It'll burn the heck out of you. Don't even point it at the direction of the tire, boy. Kaboom! Like I said, the propane, the ones from Harbor Freight, those ones with the little trigger on them are a little bit easier, but they're a little slower. I like the oxyacetylene. Alright, so we're looking pretty round there. It's just all these little spots. I see these high spots. And I just hit them. Shrink them up a little bit. Cool them off, and that is really hot metals. Now you can see what you need to do once it's cool enough. If it's too hot, you can't see, it'll still be standing up. You can use a regular hammer too, but it just doesn't work quite as good. All you got is a regular hammer. Try it, you might like it. Might work. Alright. Talk to you guys in the next portion. Alright, so let's take a look at these corners after doing that. It's a little bit low right here, and that's kind of what I want. Because when I fill it, I don't want to have, when I sand down my filler, to have this edge show. Because then it can crack right there if you do that. So you always want your lap to be filled. So that's always the best way to do it. That's why a lot of guys, they went to butt welding, and the reason why they went to butt welding is because the quality of the fillers was really bad, wasn't as good as it is now. And so when you have these quality fillers now, it's almost like, yeah, you don't necessarily need to do it that way, but it's up to you. Again, you can do whatever you want. So let's take a look at that corner. Now you can see after the shrinking that it's pretty well shaped in the right way. I was going to do a fill video and show you guys the complete corner all done in one video, but the problem is I want to do, when I'm applying filler, I put filler on here, then I have to wait, and if I'm just doing just a video on these corners, I want to work on that long panel that needs to be sanded off a little bit. There's some low spots here and stuff, and I want to do the filling on that at the same time because it's just time saving for me. So, but you can see the roundness of the corners there. There is a slight difference between this corner and that one in the roundness, but when the bumper's on, you absolutely can't see that. So it just depends on what, like I said, what you're trying to do. It's easier if you buy the corners, but if you don't have resources or whatever, this is an option. I'm just showing you guys to be able to do it. So you can see the roundness of the corner. I'll probably end up with about 1/4 of an inch of filler on some areas of that, which is fine. You know, some people go, oh wow, I don't never put it on that thick or whatever. It's and if it, let's just say for some reason you use cheap filler and you put it on here and it cracked. Where's it going to crack at? Down here, really low, where you can't see it. So, you know, like I said, it depends on what you want, what you are willing to do. I've done it this way on several vans, and I've never had one crack. So, I don't know. It's just up to you. Like I said, that's all preference. It's all what you're willing to do. So I got a little high spot right here, I see. You can look at it right here. See that standing out. So it's about a 1/4 inch high. I have to knock that down. Maybe heat that up one more time and knock it down to get it to be the right roundness. This one looks right. There's a little bit. It's actually low right here. Yeah, it might be up just a little bit right here. Because what happens is you hammer over here, sometimes it pushes this part out. It's a little tricky to work on that area. So anyway, that's just a little bit about how to shrink, and that's all part of doing this type of process. When you do homemade panels, you're going to have shrinking involved, unless you're going to sit there and do the total farming thing where these guys use the sandbags and, you know, English wheel and all the stuff that most of you guys don't have. Okay, if you have all those things, great, you know, it's all handy. I don't have them because it's not because I don't want to buy them or use them. It's just because, you know, I have to store the thing, you know. So just having the shrinkers was kind of a, well, all right, I guess I can better buy that. Maybe I'll buy it eventually, but this method seems to work okay for most things that I do. So just a little bit about that. Come back for the one after it's filled, and you'll see that there's really no reason for me buying the metal because it looks fine. Talk to you next one. Please like, share, and subscribe, and keep watching the videos on this. Make sure you make your comments. Talk to you in the next video.